Okay, we are live already.
Hello, anyone want to start?
Not you,
I start. Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Today we are going to talk about the Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich chapters.
We are
We're
finishing up the
covering
chapter, right?
Yeah, we are
There's one
covering
epilogue,
four.
right? There's one epilogue chapter, right?
Yes. If we have time, we're going to actually cover that as well. Right. Now the thing about this is that I realized one thing as I was reading it.
What's the background
I'm not sure
sound?
if we can actually cover all, but I'll do my best to summarize it. So, when I say summarize it, I would actually suggest that we give our take on it, our experience, our interpretation on it, and then we move along. How about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, can.
All
Because
right.
after I finish
So,
reading the book, right, I don't have
mm,
as much points I can say compared to the other books that we've done before.
right.
For me, I was intrigued by the back. A lot of questions need to ask, like so exercises, like okay, something interesting.
How interesting
The
is
back? What the
interesting?
back?
There's
Then
a
those self
questionnaires
self
at the back.
questioning at the back. It's like okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
so
Oh,
a
yours
bit
is the book, right?
intriguing. Mine is the book.
Mm-mm.
Even the ebook has that as well, actually. It's in the last chapter.
Okay, maybe I didn't flip all the way to the back. End notes.
No worries. No worries. We can still touch on that and then have thoughts from there.
Okay. Okay.
All right, let's start with chapter 10. We're going to cover 4 chapters and an epilogue if we could. Now, what's the takeaway for chapter 10? Chapter 10 title is The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. No, sex is not a taboo, yeah. Sex is something that is biologically and it's nature. All right, it is how we're going to embrace it and how we're going to transmute it. So it's not just about biological, it's also very spiritual. And what I like about this book so much is that it doesn't just talk about sex per se, but it actually talks about how we actually can transmute that. And it actually linked to other things. For example, uh, after this, you read about Napoleon sharing about love and how we can actually transmute that sex desire, all right, into something that can help us to have this creative awareness, have this creative expression, to be actually reach out to the infinite intelligence, to actually allow us to actually tap to what is it that it's like a genius. But this has been structured in a manner that it goes into its silo explanation of one chapter to another chapter, thus the 13 principles. Yeah. So before I link everything, what's your takeaway of this chapter, chapter 10, on the mystery of sex transmutation, which is the 10 step to riches? Or maybe I'll just share a little bit
I don't
more.
have much takeaway because because I cannot understand the part where he say that
Mm,
the energy when redirected fuels creativity, ambition, and enthusiasm.
Okay, so it is like that. When we have, okay, let's drop the word sex. Okay, let's drop the
Mm.
word sex. We use this word called urges. Our urge. When we have urge on something, it's like there is something that brew in us, there's something that drives us, there's something that you just have this additional um energy to wanting to do something. And when it comes to the biological part, it's like you want to express something. You are desiring to express something, you have this very heightened desire to express it. And when it's related to the biological, the physical part, I see it as, I understand where it's coming from, the sex part, because the thing is that the highest transmutation, is the sex energy. That's what he's trying to highlight that. And what we can do with this sex energy is not to just surrendering to the biological needs, but we can actually use it to drive us to go another level, reach another height. It means channel the energy. That's what the transmutation comes. Channel the energy for us to actually tap onto creativity, for us to tap into the genius in us, for us to use that energy, the heightened energy, for something else. That's what it meant.
Can it be like a stimulus kind of stuff?
It can be a stimulus because sexual desire is a stimulation as well.
So you're actually using it's like a stimulus energy for you to transmute to whatever.
Because it's an energy. So with the energy, you can actually transform it. You can actually channel it for something else. I once studied this, and I once actually studied under a couple who actually, after reading this book, they actually went on to actually experiment and try to tap on the genius side of, each individual. So this is a whole new topic, and it's really very interesting if you can transmute your sexual desire, especially for those who are very highly, it's very high in the
Highly
sexual urges.
sexual. I mean,
High in sexual
transmuting, I
urges.
can understand.
So once you're able to manage that, right, and you can transmute that, you can actually transmute it for something else, because energy is just energy. So if you have that energy and you know how to transmute it properly, you can actually have this heightened energy that no one else have. It keeps you alive, actually. It keeps you energized. It keeps you it just have this drawn upon energy that is very different, that it's very innate. And yet once you know how to transmute it properly, it's like a kind of self-mastery in managing your own energy to actually tap on the unknown of what, the unknown resources, the unknown part of us, the higher intelligence, for example. Hello?
Mhm.
But of course, it calls for willpower. It calls for a lot of effort, a lot of practice as well. Right? Usually, human being, all of us, we will just surrender to the biological needs. But frankly, if you know how to transmute it, it's an art of. It's a skill set. It is really I would say, a weapon, because to be able to have this, to know how to transform this, it's like a self-mastery of another level, that you have this self-mastery, that you just know how to manage your energy, just know how to manage yourself, you just know how to manage your emotions even. And if you're able to do that, you can reach many different heights, and you can actually experiment, and you can actually venture into another world so easily that you realize that the world is really infinite. There's so much that we thought we knew, and it's just the beginning. It's just a touch and go. So much untapped potential there. Yeah. Any other sharings on this?
Not really for me, but I know that the way that he's explaining is using sex as the energy to transmute.
No. Using the sex energy, not using sex as an energy. Using the sexual
sex
energy.
energy. Okay, sorry. So that's why I say I do not resonate with this, because I don't use it in that manner. I use energy in another manner, and it's not the
It's
sexual
fine.
energy. Yeah. So that's why I feel like
You have to
this
study
is not
Freud
the chapter
theory.
that I will be.
You have to read Freud theories. Once you read that, you'll be like, wow, it's very different.
For me, it's more like a bit dry. So it's like I like just literally just read like that. It's like, oh, okay. I just know that it's some kind of stimulus thing lah, for you to get high and then able to
No, not for
actually.
you to get high only. It's not just for you to get high only. It's more. It's like a stimulus. It is a stimuli. It's another channel of innate energy that will allows you to do what you want to do and to transmute this additional energy for you to go and achieve and discover a lot of things on your own. And it's a self mastery. It's a mind mastery. Gerald, you froze, yeah? Oh, she dropped off already. Yeah. So anyway,
Mm,
will she be
Yes.
coming back?
No, leh. Because you mentioned about the 10 stimulus, it's like, oh, okay. Like the
Okay.
10 different stimulus. So that's the part that I read. So like, oh, okay. Interestingly lah.
Because it's easy to read, right? It's point form, right?
Oh yeah. Point
So this
form
10
lah.
stimulus is what are the stimulus that actually stimulate the brain. Okay. It's actually what the not the brain, sorry, the mind, what stimulates the mind and what the mind's most freely responds to. So the desire for sexual expression, love, burning desire for fame, power, financial gain, which is money, music, close relationship, either sex or opposite, same sex or opposite sex, the mastery of mind alliance, the mutual suffering, the auto-suggestion, fear, and narcotics and alcohol. So in this chapter, he talks a lot about this energy because he tapped into man's innate desire. And what is it that man has? When I say man, right, it's men and women. What is it that man has as their resource? So one of the resource are the urges, and one of the strongest urges is a sex urges. That's why I think it is in here. All right. So it says that if we know how to use this energy, we can actually use it as a mastery to tap on geniuses. And genius is developed through sixth sense. Right? Six senses are imagination, and sixth sense it's like the in between.
What chapter are you on now? Are
10.
you all able to hear me or not? Because I didn't realize I was cut off. And then when I was talking, somebody was like responding. Then I realized I was cut off.
Can hear you.
Yeah, because you froze for a while, now you're back. So we are still at chapter 10. We just passed the page where there's 10 stimuli, 10 mind stimuli.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
So now we are on the subtopic. The next subtopic is on the six senses. Six senses is the creative imagination. Which of you
How come
actually
the background
flipping the
sounds so
pages
much
very
TV?
loud?
It's weighing, right? As in, how come your background TV so loud? Where are you? You're not in the room.
Yeah, no.
It's in the living room. How come the TV is so loud? Whose TV is so loud?
Living room, the TV.
Okay, never mind. We'll just continue. Okay, so the faculty of creative imagination, which is the sixth sense, is actually the direct link between the finite human mind and the infinite intelligence. So it is a link, and it is also an information, and then it is also a state where we actually understand what is it that we are drawing from the infinite intelligence and where we are at from the finite human mind state at that point in time. All right. So when we are able to tap into this sixth sense or this creative imagination, there are a lot that we can actually do. Right. So it has here the four sources of which one can have a concept of flash in one's mind through which we call hunch. Okay. The infinite intelligence, the subconscious through the five senses, the mind of some other people who just release the thoughts. I'm very fascinated with this. And then the other person's subconscious storehouse, it means that they themselves as who they are. Why I like this the mind of some other person who has just released the thought or picture or an idea concept through conscious thought. I'm fascinated with this because sometimes when we sit with people of like-minded who are able to join us and work closely with us, somehow or other the person would just get the message just like that. And when they get the message just like that, it's like, I don't need to say anything, the person don't need to say anything, we can, in our own Asian or Singapore way, we say we can get each other easily. You don't need to explain further, and then you can just get in the conversation, just understand, or you understood where this person coming from. And from there, you realize that, hey, it clicks. And this is where, the sixth sense or this hunch is actually working. This is how we know the sixth sense and hunches are actually working. All right. Any more sharing on this chapter? I know Jara mentioned that she doesn't really resonate with it, but what I find the author trying to say is that he started this chapter by explaining the most basic human desire, and it's one of the strongest desire, which Wayne pointed out, is a stimuli. So when you have this stimuli, how are you going to use this as a resource? You use this as a resource by knowing how to transmute it, knowing how to channel it as an energy, either as a portal or energy on its own, towards you getting something else that allows you to upgrade and allow you to tap on the resources that will serve you. All right. And this resource could be enhancing your six senses, enhancing your creative imagination, enhancing towards you seeking the connection with the higher intelligence or the infinite intelligence, which I usually call it or term it as a higher self or higher mind. All right. So the main thing here is that what he's trying to emphasize is that the human mind responds to stimulation, and the highest stimulation and greatest stimulation of human is actually the sexual stimulation. That's all actually in this chapter. And if you want to know more in terms of the details and who he actually discovered has actually used this energy to help them to be successful, you can actually read this chapter 10. And then he also explained why people seldom succeed before 40, and why the prime years between 40 50 is the years where people are able to reach the highest potential of that, because they know how to use this energy. Right? They know how to transmute this energy to something else that's going to serve them to move towards the next part. And why I also like this chapter is because even if he started the whole topic, the whole chapter with sex transmutation, he talks about how this can be channeled into sixth sense, into creative imagination, and we use it, and how or where our hunches comes in. And he also talks about the part of a genuine transformation. And the genuine transformation comes from the change of heart. Because once we understand how to actually transmute this energy and how to use this energy to serve us, we will come to a space where if I want to grow, I need to have a transformation. If I want to go, I need to have a reformation. And to do that, I need to have this thing called change of heart. Because if there's no change of heart, there's no desire of change. All right, genuine reformation only comes through change of heart. And this change of heart, the highest backing of it, it's love, romance, and sex. It is all the highest emotion, the driving force of the highest emotion, the stimuli that is strongest in human being that he's trying to emphasize in this chapter, that will help someone to actually work towards the highest achievement, the super achievement in one's individual. So once you understand that, you realize that, oh, okay, what am I going to use this for? For what purpose I'm using this for, and all, and how do I repurpose it? Then you understand it from a mind, from a layman perspective, is that if I want genuine reformation, I want to be able to use what is resourceful to me. And behind all this that will stimulate me, it's love, romance, sex, and it's through sex transmutation of energy is through understanding how to transmute it and tap into our sixth sense or the gut or the creative imagination that we have in us. Okay? You both are very quiet.
Because I'm thinking of what you don't have there. Like, I mean, you don't. I mean, let's say you don't have this like romance this kind of thing. Then how you gonna transmit it? Like, yeah.
Then you would want to work with your auto suggestion, which we will talk about it later. You'll work with your auto suggestion. You will talk about the positive emotions replacing the negative emotions from your positive mindset, from your auto suggestion, from how is it that you want to reconstruct your emotion and how do you respond to it. And this one, in a very simplified manner, it's directly linked to the questions that you mentioned you want to actually answer. And you find very intriguing to actually be answering those questions to understand yourself better. If you don't understand anything on here, for me, when I first read it, I was like, I don't understand anything that is spoken here because it's either very lengthy or it's like it's too many things in there and I wasn't able to link it. But after I read it a few times, I realized that the linkage is you will only see the linkage when there you have experience. And then I realized that the shortcut is if I don't understand anything here, I'll go to the questions. All right, and then I'll highlight the point where it resonates with me and I see what's the linkage there, because everything that we are able to highlight and reckon with, it's our understanding at a point in time of what he's trying to actually share with us. And whatever that we highlighted, ask ourselves, what does this means to me and how will this serve me and what do I want to do next? When you ask yourself this question, then this book will be a very good personal development book. It will also be a very good reflection book. It will also be a very good book for us to actually gauge where our milestone is, where we are at in our growth, where we are at in our journey towards achieving and wanting to achieve what we want to achieve in our life. All right? And he also emphasized a lot on self-effort. All right? Any thoughts from you both? If
No,
not,
I
I'm
think we
going to
can move on
share.
to the next.
I think no, I don't have because I never experienced those things before. So like that's why when I
Okay,
read it,
thanks for the
it's like very
information.
dry. So when
But
I read, it,
I
like
just
it's dry. I was like, I know it's a stimulus. Then I also know that, for example, like
You go and
what
try
I,
already, then you let us know lah, huh?
what I know is like when people like having those things, right? After a while, like some kind of rather right, they actually able to connect with each other better. Like
No.
yeah, that's what I realization from my friend lah.
okay. For
Oh.
weighing, right? I would just like to draw your attention to this. Okay, if you don't get anything from this chapter, it's fine. Just remember this: positive and negative emotions cannot occupy the mind at the same time. One or the other must dominate. Anything else in this chapter you don't get it, it's fine. Yeah, you just read this. This is on the last page of chapter 10. Okay? Positive and negative emotions cannot occupy the mind at the same time. One or the other must dominate. That's it. Okay, now we go to chapter 11, the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the connecting link and it is the 11th step to riches. What does that mean? What are any sharing on the subconscious mind? Maybe I'll just ask Jared. Jared, sometimes you have this intuition, and then you have this expression that is so creative. Just like when you do your website, right? You just have this intuition that it's like for lack of better words, it's like it's being channeled, and then you just know what to actually put in as a content for that. And that is the state where you're able to be so focused and you channel everything into there, and then you actually tap on the interpretation of the subconscious mind that actually it's connected to the higher intelligence to draw that information in. So can you share with us your experience on that? And then I would like to actually bring us to I think that can actually explain the subconscious mind is the medium of communication between the thinking human mind and infinite intelligence in self-thought, which almost paralyzes one's reasons. It means that it's so natural, it's so you can't really explain it, but it is there, and you know that, oh, my subconscious mind can actually receive that. That's why I can actually produce that. Would you want to share that?
So, so that's the thing. I can't really explain it.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, it's also linked to the chapter on the sixth sense, right?
Yes, because we are leading towards that chapter also. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's all interrelated, and he did repeat the reasons why the topics is very long. It's because he actually bring in a lot of his studies and the finding from his studies to be actually quoted in here so that it's factual enough.
Yeah.
That's why I
So
like
how do you
his
want me
book
to
very much.
explain? Can you ask me questions so I can try to explain? Because this is a phenomenon that I'm also trying to
Okay, so
cultivate.
sometimes you just get certain information without
Yeah.
knowing where it comes from, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And then sometimes you just intuitively know what to
Yes.
say or what to type and what to create.
Yes.
And then you realize that you never knew this before. And after
Yes.
you've done that, you also sometimes cannot make sense of it.
Yes.
Yes. So you are a
Yeah.
classic example. That's why I pointed it out. Because the thing is
Yeah,
that
but how do you want me to explain it? That's the thing, because I was like,
if you can't
how come
explain it, I ask you question, then you explain it already, then that's that,
yeah,
law.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So you ask, you
Yeah.
ask.
So as I ask this question, it actually explains this sentence that he actually said. All right. The subconscious mind is the medium of communication between the thinking human mind and infinite intelligence. Okay. So it is the medium of communication. It is the passage through to which information can come in. It is a passage through which we can have our intuition, we can have our sixth sense, we can have our creative imagination being brought up. What it
Yeah.
trying to say also, if I can refer to the previous chapter, is that in order to do this, you need a lot of willpower sometimes to begin to be able to transition into that. I know some people can transition into that easily, but for those people who are very conscious in our society these days, you need a lot of willpower. And to have that willpower, we transmute the natural energy, we transmute the natural stimuli, we transmute the natural desire from our physical being into that. And when you're able to utilize that resource and transmit into that, that's where we can actually tap into the resource and the intelligence and the capability in us, which is the unconscious mind or the subconscious mind, as he quoted here, to be the medium of communication, to be the conduit for us to tap into the higher intelligence for the resources that we need to be able to grow rich, to be able to solve problems, to be able to come up with new products, to be able to get insights, to get ideas and all that. This is what he was trying to say, and he's trying to actually emphasize on. But it all has to start with desire. Okay, you need down fact, it still goes forward lah. So if your desire is not strong enough, then even if you have all the stimuli and all that, you won't be able to use it. You won't consciously know that you want to use it as well, even though you know it. All right, because your desire is not strong enough. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and in this chapter, they also emphasize further to the quote that I actually read out for weighing just now. Okay, you would want to actually learn how to shut off the flow of negative impulses. Okay, and to aid volunteering influencing your subconscious mind through positive impulses of desire. So, in other words, right, you want to use positive I really don't like this, but I'm just going to use it for a lack of better word. Positive affirmation, positive thinking to stimulate your desire and to flush off the negative desire, the negative impulses, means the negative chatter. What is it that is so positive that you can think of to flush off the negative ones, the negative thoughts? So because when we want to do something, everything comes from thoughts first, right? And the thoughts comes from desire. If you don't manage your thoughts, you keep going through and running around the negativity, right? You won't be able to actually move into a state where it's going to be resourceful. So what he was trying to explain here in this chapter, as well as another point that I would like to bring out, is that we need to actually know how to engage with our mind to flush off negative impulses, negative thoughts, and train our subconscious mind to use the positive impulses and remember the positive impulses that's directly linked to the desire.
So I kind of happen to flip to this page
Sure.
that I highlighted. Make your desires clear and to reduce them to writing.
Mm.
That's why we keep, encouraging people to reduce them to writing, which means put it down in writing. You will also understand the necessity of persistence in carrying out instructions. What has been instructed just have to be following in that. Which means if
That's
you write
why
it down, focus on writing.
Yeah. So the other simplified manner, which I actually tapped on previously before I understand the further depth of it, is that I look through the 7 major positive emotions. They are the desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, and hope, which it's also tied to the previous topic. The 7 major negative emotions is fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, superstition, anger. So it has in this chapter the subcategories of it, which it actually explain what they are. All right, go read it if you are very interested into, or just go and read it to actually have a thought or somewhat a hint lah, a hint of what the major positive emotions are, to understand where you are at, to understand your state. And then what is it that you're going through? Are they the part of the 7 major negative emotions? If they are, what do you want to do about it so they can actually shift into the state where you're actually having this major positive emotion? So I'm not sure how to actually simplify this thing further, because it actually links so well, and to be able to sit down to actually talk about it, we will need to spend more time. So I'm doing my best to concise.
People still need to wait until after they are 40 years old. Patience.
Oh,
Patience.
40,
to-
Hi, May.
Soon.
yeah.
I
So
roughly know what you're saying.
we can use this as a reference, we can use this as a guiding principles, we can use this as a guide. Oh, okay, now I know there are 7 major positive emotions. They are the desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, hope. So I know that if I have these, they are positive emotions. And what does it mean? It means that they are something that is going to be resourceful. They are something that is going to push me or help me grow as an individual. Then you see, there are 7 major negative emotions. These are the emotions that will set me back. And it is a when I know I'm having this, it's a sign for me that I am not in a very resourceful state. What do I want to do with it? You can just use this as like, a checklist. Where am I at? What am I feeling? As I'm feeling this, what do I want to do? That's it. It can be as simple as that.
I just want to highlight another point where, a lot of people don't know about this thing called the subconscious mind, this thing about proactiveness, about desires, right? He actually wrote it in this chapter saying that the subconscious mind will not remain idle. If you fail to plant desires in your subconscious mind, it will feed upon the thoughts which reach it as the result of your neglect. So which means it's an either or. If you don't nourish and nurture it with your positive desires that will help you to achieve the outcomes that will serve you, it will go the other side. There's no in between.
Alright.
But a lot of people are hanging in the in between, thinking that, okay, I think this one, I want this law, but I'm actually expecting other people to give it to me. And then I seek and I seek and I seek, I can't seem to find it. Why, So that instead of looking for ways to counter it, right, you actually, right, realize that you are being sucked into the things that you do not get or expect, and then spiral down into the depths of whatever lost world is that. And then it's going to be harder for you to come up again because your subconscious mind has sunk into the depths of that despair. So that's why it is
suddenly you become
proactive,
like very
conscious
poetic.
choice. No, I'm just trying to keep it as candid and as simple as I can describe it, because in his book, right, it's also not easy to dissect his language, because the words he used is not exactly
Yes and no lah.
very straightforward way of how we speak in English, especially in the Asian context. If let's say your English is great, then great lah. But I don't think the Asian people are very good at English, as in my opinion lah. So I
No
feel
lah,
like
I mean,
it has
very
to be
individual
some
lah.
simple examples of real life scenarios of what can happen. And
This
of course, it's due to individual. I'm not saying everybody's English is lousy lah. But then the thing is, we are in Singapore. Our English is not here, not there. Honestly, we are a culture mixed. Come on, it's like, even though I'm Singaporean, I also don't think our English is fantastic. Our Chinese don't even need to say, right? And then how many people actually bothers to really go and study the language properly in order for them to be able to articulate and express?
There are lah.
Let alone write a book or something like that.
There
Compared
are
to
lah.
other
But-
Angmo countries lah, that's what I'm saying.
But I would say that in this book, why it is one of the books that stays very long in many bookshelves or in many of the home bookshelves is because as we grow and as we mature as an individual, as we experience life, this book is still relevant to actually bring out and draw out different insights and different takeaways, not just for life towards richness in terms of monetary, but to understand life as a whole. Because it talks a lot about the innate human nature, human desire, human interaction, and human expression. And when he actually does this, right, you realize that he covers a lot of facets, a lot of contexts in life, which one can actually draw references to. And there's no time, even though he actually referenced to the earlier times when America was great or was becoming great, even though he referenced to that. But the thing is that the cycle of what us as human being goes through is somewhat similar of different contexts. It means that we all have major positive emotions. We all have major negative emotions. We all have desires, faith, creative imagination. We all have setbacks. We all have successes. But to be in what category is very much defined by us based on where we are at any point in time, our own model of the world, our own interpretation. And when we do that, what he does is that he put it in a very referential way towards what is going on in America at that point in time as an example. And based on his studies, this is what being categorized in which category, thus resulting in the 13 principles to actually help one to have the kind of mindset to think and to be able to grow rich. So the thing is that he is very cognitive, if I may just use this word. He's very cognitive. So it's like a lot of creative people, they express because of the creativity that flows through them. But he's a very logical, he's a very logical, very scientific man who does a lot of research to back what he wants to say and to back his curiosity to understand, and so that he can actually accept that. That's why when it's written in this way, we want to use a lens of, I want to understand it from a perspective of, if I were to wanting to model after a success of an individual to be reached, what is it that I can actually model after? What is it that I needed to understand, and what frame of mindset that I need to have first before I'm able to model after? It's just like you can't run before you know how to stand up, take steps, and walk. So in this book, he do actually bring in a lot of introduction to what needs to come in to have the kind of mindset to develop to work towards richness. But having said that, is it exhaustive enough? It is exhaustive as it can be. And if you want to read more, there's always citation. There's always references that we can actually go through for the source of where he got the information to input into each chapters, or the example that he quoted, where does it come from? We can actually read from all the citations and notes and also references that he actually put in at the back of the book. All right. Hello.
Yes. Okay.
Miss Jara very quiet now.
I think she's writing something.
No, I mean just now when I was talking, then I talk more. Then I'm not talking, then you say I'm quiet.
Yeah,
Then-
because I was like wondering, are you hearing? I scared after you just now you just froze. At least now you didn't freeze. But the thing is that if I hear a response, I know that you're still here. Okay, still live. Okay, so with that, we can move to chapter 12, which is the brain. Okay, the brain is quite straightforward. It is like a transmitter to me for the expression, what is inside. Okay, what thoughts, what ideas, and all that we want to express, what creative imagination that we got from the interaction of our subconscious with the infinite knowledge. And the brain actually allows us to express it and materialize it in the material way that we can see these days. Okay, it's like a broadcasting station here that he actually used to actually describe it. Now I don't have much for this chapter, only that I like the last part where he says this, all individuals have become what they are because of their dominating thoughts and desires. So when our brain works as a transmitter, as a creative expression, as an expression of the creative imagination and all, then you want to know that as we use our brain, and what thoughts that dominates at any point in time driven by the desires that we have, that is how we are going to behave, and that is what we're going to express at any point in time. So whether it is towards richness or not, that's very individual. That's that timing, and that this will actually tell us whether the individual it's leaning towards where. But like just what you mentioned earlier on, it's very apt. People don't know where they are at, and they're usually just there all the time. Majority of the people.
Yeah, they just think that the language is as such, and they think that one example, even though it's described in one way, is actually different from another. But because if they understand in depth, they will realize it's actually similar or relevant, but they don't see in between those gaps. Because
Yeah.
what he actually said in this chapter is there's only 3 points you need to bear in mind and apply when you wish to use your brain, the subconscious mind, your creative imagination, and your auto-suggestion. And then I actually highlighted the greatest forces are intangible. And this is the part where people will have problems also trying to achieve greatness because they keep thinking that whatever they feel, they see, they touch, and weigh and measure are the only real things, and those that they don't know and don't see are not real and not possible. And that's unfortunate because if it's saying everything starts from your brain, that is the thought here that is intangible. And if you already limit from this part, then nothing can happen beyond that. But
True.
if you choose to understand from the open perspective and be ready to receive or do the work that allows you to receive the good luck and the wealth, then you'll be rewarded duly accordingly. Then that's where he's
Okay.
going to talk about the sixth sense, which is the fine line between this which is the bridge between this gap.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think everything actually starts with, because he mentioned about thoughts, ma. So everything is actually starts off with being aware of your thoughts first. Because thoughts come first, ma, right? Then after that, from there, then you're able to actually choose which thought you actually want to put your energy and focus on. And then after that, you're able to transmute to whatever is inside, then you're able to actually create the things that you wanted. That's
Transmute
what I
does
think.
not come that in that manner. But then this is something that you will only understand when you experience it, because the basics need to be done first. Yeah. Any other sharing before we move on to the next
The part that I like most about this chapter is this one sentence. Without doubt, the most common weakness of all human beings is the habit of leaving their minds open to the negative influence of other people. Okay? The habit of leaving their minds open to the negative influence of other people. Now, the work that I do, okay, and the work that I do with my partners, either on mindset, inside out, identity, and all. The work that I do is to actually assist individuals to realize that there are so many suggestions out there. There are so many people out there who are not mindful, or they have no idea what is it that it's negative. Negative here means it's not serving. But if you're going to surround yourself with people who are like broken recorder, who actually fight for their limitation, which is also negative influence, who actually feels that there's no growth, or the growth is beyond what they could achieve, and thus they always say this cannot, that cannot, they are very skeptical with a lot of things in life, then I think you want to think again and start seeing who are the people that you're actually mixed with. Because for me, people who are like broken recorder and keep saying negative things, I will cut immediately, because if they don't take initiative and they continue to fight for their limitation, somehow or rather, all right, they are going to take away a lot of your energy. They are going to keep you uh, or, or break the momentum of you moving towards having a mindset that draw in resources, having a mindset that is progressive, having a mindset of abundance. So if you were to notice, right, it's very draining, it's very tiring to be with people who are like a broken recorder and then keep fighting for their limitation. That's why you see a lot of individuals, when they are successful, or when they really know what they want, they really choose the company that they are wanting to be with. Because sometimes when we are tired and all that, right, we may not be as mindful. Then this negative influence will be like an auto suggestion to their mind, and then they have to actually do the cleanup, which is it's not going to be conducive. All right. So you want to be very mindful who you choose in your circle, who you want to actually bring in. And that is why there is this questionnaire later on you were to see in the later part, I think in the epilogue, where you can actually answer. And then when you answer, you realize that it will ask you questions like who do you surround with, who is your supporter, who's your dot, dot, dot. The whole list of questions there. All right. And this will actually help you to, if you go through it, set your boundaries proper and
Yeah.
decide what you want to do with your life.
Yes,
Okay.
because I want to highlight that transmuting is something that requires a force that is strong enough for you to be able to change from state A to state B. And I
Yeah.
just want to give an example. One of it includes conscious application. Because only when you are able to understand and consciously utilize this process, you will be able to use this process of transmutation to shape your lives with focus, motivation, and effort, which means it's a very laser, or rather is a very targeted energy that drives you into manifesting your positive desires and
Mm,
outcomes. So what I wanted to
mm,
say is yesterday I was having a meeting with this person, and then interestingly, this was I feel like it's a real life example. I'm not saying that it is a direct example of what transmutation is, but it is something that I want to bring up. When this person was talking to me, right, he was saying that, like, okay, let's all be blunt. So then when I was just saying my thoughts about, yeah, we all know that this has happened. What can we do to move forwards? Because harping on it doesn't help. And what's the point of constantly talking about a problem when we have already heard it multiple times? And then he told me something like, Jared, I think it's good that you don't have to be so straightforward all the time. Then I'm like, excuse me, what do you mean? You told me that it's okay to be blunt and straightforward, right? Then he caught himself, because I was like, why are we talking about this when I'm actually talking on one topic, and suddenly you pinpointed this for what? So then the art of transmuting is knowing when to point out something that doesn't sit right, and the relevance is also not on point, and then throwing it back to the person and asking him, what's the point of you saying this? Then he realized. That's when I saw him caught himself. Then I'm like, okay. Then I said, yeah. So I'm just going to continue talking. And then the way I
mm,
talk is quite dynamic, and people have told me that they some of them cannot take it lah, but most of them, right, are not offended. Okay, but I'm also very observant and very intentional when I talk. If I bring specific things that I need to highlight, I will say in a very dynamic and a very energetic driven manner. You know what he told me? He said, by the way you talk, right, it's actually very, he was trying to look for the right keyword for it. I would, in my mind, I would say something more, I wouldn't say neutral, but I would say sometimes I talk in a more forceful manner. Like, I just want to get my point across. And then it may sound cutting to him, it may sound aggressive to him, but I wasn't talking about him, I was talking about something else. And then you know what he told me? He said it could actually sound very, I'm thinking he's trying to use the word offensive, but he's trying not to use the word offensive. So I asked him, I throw it back. I said, is that a problem for you? And then he was also a little bit taken aback. Then after he said, no, it's not a problem for me. Then I said, if it's not a problem for you, why are you assuming that it's going to be a problem for someone else when it's not a problem for you? Like, who is that someone else? Because I've never heard anyone telling me about this being a problem. Then after that, he was like,
mm,
oh, okay. Then he just want to, like, skirt around the issue. And then when I went to think about it, I was like, why is it circling always this? This is not the only time. He has always been bringing up his emotions, his feelings, and then he thinks that. Then I feel like it is probably what he's feeling that he's trying to project out onto me. And because I don't resonate, I actually transmitted it. I took it and threw it back at him. I said, don't throw a bullshit at me indirectly by asking him back, what do you mean
mm,
by this? And that's where he actually backed off. To me, right, I was like, I value the way I do things. I value the way I actually am able to communicate and get things done. But if there is no problem, don't try to throw shit at me because it's not relevant. Because out of nowhere, it's going to cause more drama. And finally, right, this person recently just had an argument with another person. I was like, why are you throwing it to me when you guys are the one having the argument? I don't get it. So it's very likely projection, I'm guessing. And I was like scratching my head. Wow, what an interesting way of humans showing themselves through conversations like this. But if you're not aware and if you're not mindful of what is it exactly is going on, right, you will be susceptible, especially when you're down in energy, to think that, am I aggressive? Did I offend anyone? Did I do anything wrong? Oh my God. Yeah, then it's going to keep your mind in some jumbled thoughts, and then you probably will not be able to sleep at night.
Yeah, then talk to me. It's okay. I will answer that. It's definitely perception is projection, because whatever that he doesn't perceive, he will project. All right. And moving back to what you mentioned about the art of transmuting, right? I would just like to add on the thing about this art of transmuting. It's that even if you have a desire to do something, you need to want to know and break it down to what is it your intention is when you want to share something. If you don't have clarity on the intention that you set in sharing what you actually wanted to share, that's where you won't be able to stand your own point. You won't be able to back your own points. So it's just when you mention, you say that, I don't think so, people will feel offended and all. And then what you're trying to say, as you question him back, trying to understand where he's coming from, he caught himself. As he caught himself, it just merely proved that, he may come from a very nice intention, from a good intention. But the thing is that the clarity in which there may cause the gap, it's because he doesn't know you well enough to be commenting that. So he's commenting it from his own perceived perception, and he projected it. And yes, when we are tired, when we are actually overwhelmed, when we just have an argument, when we just actually went through something that took away a lot of our energy, we may not have that kind of clarity. We may not be able to exercise and express our highest intention in the best way possible. That is why we want to choose what is it that we want to focus and put our energy and time in. Because there are a lot of things out there that can actually distract us, that can take our energy and attention away. Any energy and intention taken away, or any energy and intention, even time that we put into something, it causes us to actually have an opportunity cost. It causes us to actually not be focusing on other things. Even though we live in the era where AI is so advanced and can help us in a lot of things, right? But focus is the new currency. Attention is the new currency. If you don't have that, you realize that a lot of things can be produced, but it's surface. There's not much depth. To have a continuity of things, when we talk about human continuation, depending on what context, but for me, when I talk about human lifelong learning, human development, I'm talking about lifelong learning and my own personal growth and mastery. Okay, because I come from that field. But when you want to ask yourself, for what purpose I'm living my life, and how do I want to put meaning and purpose so that I know that I'm living the life that I want, I would then want to be able to have the momentum, to have the energy and focus to work towards my self-mastery, to work towards what I want to achieve consistently. And to do that consistently, it will require focus and attention, because the deviation of focus and attention at any point in time will probably set you back 2-3 steps behind, and you need to restart again, or it will totally bring you astray for a long time before you go back to yourself. That's why journeying into a self, it's first step. Okay, as you journey into self, you can actually read books as such that actually allows you to have a perspective from someone from the business world, someone who is from a research-based, very educational, very, cognitive, very logical space. You can read books as such, or you can read any other personal development books that actually helps you grow. You can even read alternative healing books, which talks about energy and all that, all of which will allows you to find the resources that you need to put your focus and attention to. So be very, very mindful what you actually bring into your life and allow to be brought into your life, because anything that take up space, time, energy, of yours, your focus and all that, it will actually take you away from what is it that you want to do in your own life. What is it that you want to experience in your life? Then you're just like, I don't know what I want to do in my life. I don't even understand why am I doing this. All right. So that's why in this chapter, especially when you talk about the transmutation, or when you talk about they not having the clarity in what they actually say or do and have thoughts, it is really perception's projection. You actually hold space for him in that short moment to allow him to reflect what is it that he is perceiving
Am
and
I
what
holding
is it that
space?
he has
I
not
hope.
thought through. You hold because you listen to him in a way lah, all right,
I
for a
listen to
moment
many
in time
times. He
lah.
keeps ranting and ranting and ranting. I was
Yeah,
like,
you hold so many times, so
enough.
next time no need to hold. Yeah, so don't when you are able to manage your focus and attention, your time and energy, you realize that you won't leave your mind open to the negative influence of other people. You won't leave your mind to
Yes.
the chatters around you. So
Yes.
how you can actually tighten it, because we are human beings, we go through ups and downs, and then
Yes.
sometimes whatever that our lifestyle is may not be conducive. That's why you want to
Yes.
really, really
Yes.
mingle with
Tighten it
people
and
who
close
support
it.
you. Yeah,
Yes.
because only those who support you and you support them, we can actually remind each other and grow from there.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
bring in somebody or you allow somebody to come and drain you, I tell you,
No.
it's really, it takes up so much of your time, takes up so much of your energy, time, focus, and there's no equivalent of exchange.
Yes.
All
So
right.
I learned my lesson well because I had to sweep away those who drained me. It wasn't a
Mm.
very pleasant experience, but it was a lot of experience lesson that I managed to learn. And I know I do not want to repeat. That's why I intentionally close. Because
Mm.
if I'm not responsible for my own mind, I cannot blame other people for coming in to murk my mind, right? So if
Yeah.
I don't learn the lesson quickly, then I will
Mm.
be subjected to a lot of chatter. It's not just one person, it's the intellectual infinite intelligence that could
Yeah.
come at any moment.
Yeah, because we want to train ourselves to continuously being able to connect to that, right?
Exactly. So it's an art of and the science of at the same time. That's why I say I don't know how to explain, but I just kind of got the
Okay, we are explaining it,
hang.
we're getting there.
I managed to get the hang of tapping into it, but I was like, let me discover more and see what else can come.
Yeah, but it all goes back to our values as well and our belief system, unfortunately, because we grow up in a very programmed way based on our environment. That's why our environment is also very important. Now that
Yes.
we are aware, we want to consciously choose our environment. Previously,
Yes.
when we were growing up, we are blessed with an environment that support us, but it comes with programming that may not resonate with our true values and belief system. So as we transition through, then we filter, and then as we filter, we want to tighten it so that
And also
our journey is nicer.
the breakthrough is the transmutation part, which requires a lot of energy and a lot of courage to push through the
Never mind.
limit.
I know. In the next part, right, it's an epilogue. It talks about how to outwit the 6 ghosts of fears, and then it actually lays down the 6 fears, the 6 basic fears, and it actually tell us, what
Well,
is
very
it
good. We
in
jump to the fear.
each. Under each of the fear, what is it that you want to look out to identify whether it is really a fear of that category or not? Okay, maybe we just quickly go through that. Okay, the first one is poverty. Number 2 is criticism. Number 3, ill health. Number 4, loss of love of someone. 5, old age, and 6, death. Now,
So glad last.
yeah,
Death
how
is
do I
the
know when is it that I'm fearful, I'm not fearful? This is one of the guiding principles from the thinking, the intellectual part. The other one is because if you are actually able to practice, very well, okay, whether it's a fear-based projection or it is a negative emotion projection. And when you know that, continuously, go and work on that to let that go. And whatever is no longer serving, just clean it up, let it go. Because the thing is that sometimes, right, as you work so much, you become very lean. When you are lean, right, whatever that comes up, it is those that are very in depth, and then it takes a little bit more effort, or in fact a lot of effort sometimes, to actually identify and clean it up, because it is deep in the unconscious,
Yeah.
is deep in the subconscious. So already, if you have so much things to do, really, really seriously, choose what is it that you want to invest in terms of your focus, attention, time, energy. If not, it's not
How
going
do
to
you
serve.
clean it up, like in simple terms?
Clean it up by doing the intervention work lor. So I'm in the coaching industry, I'm in the training industry, personal development industry. So I use different modalities like neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy. All right. And I use a very conventional one as well. For example, journaling. Okay. And then right now, let me bring this up. Since we are actually having this play session, I'm also starting to enjoy myself through play, which I have not been playing for a very long time. I play the intellectual, like Scrabbles, all those. Yeah, but it's the creative play, the creative sessions that I realize that it is something that I can tap into as a time out to get back to
Clean
my
up.
senses. Yeah, to get back to my senses, and that will actually allow me to connect with my unconscious or the subconscious
So we should
through
play
my
more.
senses. Yeah. So art is a form, music is a form, playing physically is a form, like sports and all that. Expressing through different types of artistic creation, doing things that I will not do, but people close to me do. I'll go try it. Although I'm very skeptical, I'll still go and try it. Right. So as I try it, I realized that, I can actually do this. Then when I say that I can actually do this, then I'm like, okay, I've had this experience, and from this experience, what is it that I can innovate and creatively do so that it serves me and people around me? That's how I actually work around. So these days, I won't go through those fluff and all that. My creation, or me and my partners, the creation will comes from who we are, okay, and what identity we bring forward any point in time, and who actually resonates. We encourage you all to come to us and let us work together and grow and learn from each other and grow from there. Okay, whether we are going to be intimate friends, intimate partners, or that's beside the point. But the point is that, how do we come together and be interdependently learning from each other, and yet still be able to function as an independent individuals? All right. So I think those who actually
So
want
we should
to
play
know
more.
in depth of this 6 base fear, they can get the book. We can actually find it online. Okay. And then the other part that I understand from Wayne that she is very intrigued with is the self-analysis test questions here. So any of the questions that you would like to share, any of us? I've done this 5 times at least.
I just go through. I just intrigued by it. Then just go through. So some of them is like yes and no question mark. And some of them need explanation, which I just ignore the explanation because I
Yeah.
was reading through quite quick.
Every time you go through it, right, there will be different take.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like I mentioned, I went through it about like 5 times at least. I don't remember, but the mean 5 times where I already sit down and do it. I think the longest that I sat down and do it was like 4 hours. Yeah, because I do the
Too
cleanup
long.
as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I did the cleanup and all that as well. Right. So yeah, this book is really good. And for those who resonates, especially when you're a very logical person, go read it. For those who like creative books,
Then not so logical one.
are the creative ones, then we get on to the creative books, and maybe story drivers can talk about movies next time other than books.
Yeah.
We can also still talk
Can
about
I
books,
research?
talk about any other things. Yeah.
Under the
So
sun. Actually, question
yeah,
is I haven't reached the question. In the
this
digital book
epilogue.
is what epilogue?
In epilogue. It's in pages. Hang on.
Don't tell me the page, tell me the chapter, please.
Epilogue.
It's epilogue, right? Okay.
Epilogue. And then it
Okay.
is at the hang on. The e-copy epilogue.
No, don't have to tell me page. It's under epilogue, right? I just go and
Yeah, it's
click.
under epilogue. Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right.
Did we actually
So
finish the book already?
yeah. So the 13 chapters. Okay. Give me a sec.
Actually, I like what he said in this epilogue. Money talks. Money is only
So-
clamshells or metal discs or scraps of paper. I actually said money are just vouchers. Vouchers, like
For me,
VOUCHERS.
for me, money is currency. Currency of exchange. Because I tell
It could be
you,
clamshells next time. Next time we can create our own
never
money
mind.
using
Yeah, why
clams.
not? Because the thing is that if you notice one thing, right? If we subscribe to the law of equivalent of exchange, right? It means there will always be exchange, if not now, then later. So the cleanest way to have an exchange and clean cut release and clear and close the loop is through monetary exchange. Plus, because in the secular world, money actually allows us to support ourselves ecologically, to provide shelter, food, and all that, lodging, everything. So money is the easiest form of exchange. So that's why if you want to close a loop of something, in Chinese we say 不要欠人呐, we use money. That's one way to do it. So for me, money is a currency of exchange.
It's like common ground of measured value.
Yeah, correct. So 13 points, 13 principles. Number 1, desire. Second, faith. Third, auto-suggestion. Fourth, specialized knowledge. Fifth, imagination. Sixth, organized planning. 7, decision. 8, persistent. 9, power of the mastermind. 10, the mystery of sex transmutation. 11, the subconscious mind. 12, the brain. 13, the sixth sense. So if we are able to understand all this, and actually if we don't have to be very anal about I'm not understanding this or that and all that, whatever takeaways that you get from any of the chapters and whatever connection that you can actually connect from as you read this book, that is what you need at that point in time. And it is not this book only. Any good books, it is the same principle. When you read, whatever you get, whatever that you connect with, that is what you need at that point in time. And then you just want to decide what you want to do with it and how this, what is it that you discover is going to serve you. That is all. Yeah. So that's all for me.
I think
for this.
I will need to read this book a few more times next time.
Yeah. It is a book that I have since my 20s actually.
Wow, so long already.
Yeah, so I actually have 2 yellow ones that I actually replaced with already.
Oh, okay. That explains why you're familiar with the content. So you're the best person to talk about this.
I'm sure there are many other individuals who have different takes, and I would love to actually connect, speak to people who actually have different takes, and we can actually learn from each other, because people of different or opposing ideas are the people that we can learn most from. Not only from the aspect of us understanding where they're coming from for our own cultivation, but it is also for us to grow intellectually as well and spiritually. But of course, these people must know what they talk about. because people who doesn't know what they talk about is actually can be very, 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 very draining to me lah. Yeah. So that's all for me. Any more sharing, please? I pass the floor back to you, Jara.
I have nothing to add on. Anything
Okay,
from Wei Ying?
I think the key takeaway for me, right, is about like how to actually about is how you actually manage your mind, actually. So it's about, because actually in the book you mentioned one sentence that mind control is the result of the self-discipline and habit. So it's more about how you actually cultivate the habits to actually manage your mind so that you don't go into downward spiral, and then it's all about action taking.
Yeah, and please put in this word called persistent, because persistent need consistency. So being persistent, being consistent, and allowing growth, it's something that we all want to be mindful to put into our life. Because I tell you, these days really got a lot of distraction.
I want to
A
add
lot
in.
of
Can you
distraction.
please put in proactive?
Persistent is being
Intentional
if you are persistent.
proactiveness.
If you are persistent, then you'll be proactive.
Intentional proactive persistence.
Okay, fine.
No, you could be persisting in being passive. Intentional proactive persistence. 3 words.
I didn't thought of that because being persistent on not doing anything is not in my radar. Perception is projection.
Persistent,
No,
but must be persistent in a good way lah, in the sense that must be persistent on what you want.
Intentional proactive persistence. They're serving. 对 4.
Consistently be proactive, to be persistent in working on what actually serves us. Develop that habit of thinking and actions.
Yeah.
Something else.
Yeah, basically I didn't know that it's really a habit about it. It's like you actually,
Yeah,
for me,
how
it's
we
like
think is also a habit.
If you say you don't know, at Okong $15.
okay.
Yay, we are
Yeah.
done with the book, right?
You all can't wait. You all just can't wait. Yeah. I would love to go more in depth and talk about more in depth perspective, but I leave it for now. All right. So
Okay. Thank you.
that's it from us. Thank you very much for those who actually stay on with us, and I wish everyone all the best in your journey. Every day, in every way, we are getting better and better. So let's do that. Let's work towards that, and wish yourself and each other the best all the way. Always look into the highest potential of the self and others, and when that, you'll realize that your perception will change, your projection will also change, and that can also be the seed of new habits, thinking habits. All right, that's it from me. Thank you all very much, and I shall check out now.
See ya. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye. You want to end your life?
Wait, I thought I end already. Oh,
Not yet.
Okay.